So all your competitors are outranking you and out-mentioning you on ChatGPT. And I want to give you 5 tips that if after you watch the whole video and just implement these 5 tips, you'll be able to outrank them in terms of citations. Meaning on GPT, on Perplexity, on Grok, on all these AI-based or LLM-based search engines, it's not about rankings, it's about mentions. And so I want to show you some tangible tips on how you can increase the number of mentions your brand has in these LLMs. Okay, so let's break it down. It's going to be a very boring video, but I promise you, if you watch all the way through, right, and you actually implement these, don't just be like the majority of people just watch this and not actually implement it. Please do implement these, right? I can assure you that you'll see an improvement, right, in the number of mentions you have on these engines. Now, granted, some small, like tip number 0 before I start is just know that it's your GEO, your generative engine optimization, or in other words, the number of mentions or citations you have on these LLMs, ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever, right? They're heavily correlated with how well you rank on the classic Google and Bing engines. So there's a high correlation between SEO and GEO, or AI SEO, or LLM SEO, however you want to call it, right? There's a high correlation between these two. So if you want to rank on, if you want to be mentioned on these LLMs, know that you have to have a good, proper SEO. The classic SEO with the 3 pillars we always talk about, and I'll leave links for courses down below in the description, where you have to tackle the on-page SEO, off-page SEO, which are backlinks, and technical SEO. Because if you don't do this, right, well, your GEO and these tips won't do much. Okay, so if you want a free course on how to do like classic SEO, click the first link in the description. I'll teach you how to do all that. With that out of the way, let's break it down. So first things first, and this might seem like an obvious tip, but it's not very obvious, is enable chatbot crawlers, right? Don't block OI search bots or Google bots or GPT bots, in your robots.txt. Like doing this is the same thing as on Google and Bing setting your site as non-indexable, right? Why would you set it for non-index? Doesn't make any sense. There are certain pages that should be non-index, right? No index, well, like some internal pages or some, for example, some specific review pages or maybe some secret product pages don't want that showing up on the SERPs, right? But most pages should be indexable, right? And if you're doing this, if you're blocking these crawlers, these bots, right, in your robots.txt, well, you're not going to show up. So if you block them, you won't get indexed and you won't appear in AI search results. Okay, now granted, some people block these because they feel like, with some reason, right, they feel like if they don't block, like all their content is going to be stolen. That's the one fear they have, right? And second fear is that, yeah, the bots, so many bots like overcrowd their servers and have them spend way much more money, like server costs, because they overwhelm the servers. Now, number 2, I'd say 99.9% of the people shouldn't have to worry about this, because you won't have thousands of bots going to your site and like, increasing your server costs. So don't worry about this. I guess most people would be worried about the first one. Yeah, but you want these AI engines to steal your content, because like, look at this, right? Let's say we have Google, right here, little search box, you type in something and it goes and shows like maybe a blog post, an article, a YouTube video, maybe like a Reddit forum. And then you have ChatGPT, which like it works on a prompt basis. You prompted something, it gives you an answer, right? You prompted something again, it gives you another answer, right? Now, thing is that, let's say tomorrow, like Google dies. Nobody uses Google anymore, right? Well, again, not right now. You click, you search for something, you go and read the blog post, right? You click and you watch the YouTube video, you click and you read through the Reddit comments. Right? But let's say tomorrow nobody uses this. Let's say only people only use LLMs. People only use like ChatGPT, right? When you prompted something, what do you think the AI engine behind it is doing? Like, to give you the answer, well, what it's doing to some extent is it's going on Google, right? It's reading the blog post itself. It's watching the video. It's browsing through the Reddit comments. So it's doing what you used to do as a human, right? But now the AI is doing it. So it's a way more interesting way to consume and to ask for stuff, because now I just prompt it and then the robots will go in, read my site, read whatever they want, and give me like a proper answer in like just a few seconds with like super well structured, super well organized. While before, this is like the Stone Age almost. Like I had to do this manually. Like in 2 years from now, we're going to be thinking, damn, you remember Google search? It was so manual. You had to go and read the blog post, watch the video, read the Reddit comments. Now I can just use AI. They do all that for me and give me my answer in a little answer right here. It's way more, it saves you a bunch of time basically. And so my point here is to say that yes, even if nobody uses Google tomorrow, right, well, you still want the AI engines to go and browse your site, right? Why would you block it? If you block them, well, you will never show up here in the answers. So don't block these TXCs. Don't think that your service costs are going to be high. They're not going to be high, right? I mean, it doesn't matter. Most likely, it's not going to be that many bots. Your site is most likely small. And this right here, right? Don't worry about stolen content, right? These guys will always cite you back, right? Always. So that's the very first thing. Enable chatbot crawlers, right? That's the very first tip. Second tip is track the AI referrals. Let me show you something. If I go here into our tracking software, we use Posthog. I mean, you can use Google Analytics. There's a million analytics softwares out there. Doesn't matter what you use. We use this one because it's a bit more granular, right? It doesn't really matter. If I go here to our database, to the project, let's just do data management. No, let's just do this. Scroll down. Sorry, guys, I'll have to hide a bunch of this stuff right here. Click these people right here. And so these are basically the people who discovered our site for the very first time through ChatGPT. So I'll just open up a couple here at random so I can show you, right, where they actually came from and why this stuff is valuable. For two things, and this ties in with the very first tip, which is don't block crawlers, right? These guys found us through our blog, right? We have a blog post about AI writing news articles, right? Whatever, right? Source, UTM source. Now all these LLMs, they'll give you like a little tracking link, which is the UTM source and then where it came from. Okay, in this case, ChatGPT, right? All these, you got to take advantage of this stuff right here. For example, these guys came from one of our feature pages, right? Source ChatGPT. This guy came from, let's see, our case study page, right? So we I don't know, like that's the issue with this. We don't have the data, right? But assuming this is ChatGPT, right? Let's say they were asking for stuff like, hey, I'm looking for an AI SEO software that's case study backed, right? And the AI replied, hey, listen, there's actually this one called Arvo. They have a bunch of case studies, and here's one. And they just linked this one right here. Again, there's no way for me to know which one was the actual prompt. Maybe we'll access this in the future with Google. We know, like Google Keyword Planner. Google Keyword Planner is a free tool from Google that gives you like the keywords people are searching for, the search volume, all this stuff, right? But these LLMs don't have it, right? Maybe they'll have it in the future. I don't know, right? Point being is that I don't know which prompt exactly led for people to visit this right here. I just know that these guys reached our site for the very first time to this page from ChatGPT. And again, this ties in with the very first thing, because if I had blocked crawlers, if I had blocked GPT from reading my website, I'd never had these guys finding my site. So don't block crawlers. Now, again, I also want to know which page these guys came from, right? Where did they come from? And so it's very important to take advantage of your analytics tools, regardless if you use Posthog, Google Analytics, doesn't matter what you use, to know and find, okay, which pages are being cited or mentioned more in these LLMs, right? And this is free, right? Google Analytics is free. So these bots now self-report traffic in analytics, like Google Analytics, Posthog, etc., with UTM sources, okay? So start measuring how much traffic you're getting from AI to establish a baseline and track improvement. So if I go here and if I look, right, okay, these guys came from here, these from here, maybe another one came from, let's see here, these guys came from our free tools page, these guys came from our blog on AI automation. So maybe I should write more blog posts about this, right? So having a baseline, okay, of let's see how many people came from ChatGPT this month. Let's see to which pages they came to. Was it our case studies page? Maybe we should be producing more case studies. Are they all coming to a specific type of blog post? Try to disconstruct why. And again, the only way in which you can disconstruct things is if you measure them. And of course, before you have to enable chatbot crawlers. So second one, big tip right here, enable it. And I'm sure, right, you'll have already some traffic coming from ChatGPT. Everyone's saying this, right? It's only natural. It's going to grow a bit more. So go out and see what's being like where people are going to. Because again, these will now self-report traffic with UTMs. Third tip, right, is to restructure your content as Q&A. And I want to show you a tangible example. And I give this example a lot of the times, but these guys are absolutely crushing it, and they're a great example. And I try to give you examples in the software space, in the local business space. This is an example in the e-commerce space. They're a gardening company, right? They do the classic SEO. They have all these blog posts, right? Long form content, valuable content with images, videos, links, all this stuff that I talk about on the channel, right? But then they have an e-commerce store attached to it, right? Where you can buy their products. For example, let's go here to this one, gardening bed. Now, most e-com stores, they just finish their pages right here. You can even scroll down. Now, what these guys do is very, very valuable. Now, again, I said this so many times, but it's insane the value you get from this, right? If you just scroll down, there's product details. It's very in-depth, right? There's specifications. There's how to use, right? And I'll go over why this is super valuable. How to use. I'll tell you in a second, right? But if you keep on scrolling down, right? There's, again, some features of the product, right? There's the material, even the material breakdown, right? right? There's what it's made out of, why it's made out of that, right? Because it prevents corrosion and all that stuff. It talks about the paint that's used. It's non-toxic USDA approved paint, and it tells you why, right? And then down here, a bunch more stuff, right? How to set it up, super valuable, right? And then down here, and a Q&A or FAQ structure type section. Now, why is this valuable? Before I go into here to that, let me just go over to my whiteboard just to reveal the answer, because then I want to give you the actual tangible example. It's instead of long narrative blog posts, which again still are very valuable, and these guys are pulling in a lot of traffic from these long form blog posts, format content in clear question answer style. Make it easy for the AI crawler to extract the best possible answer using the user's query. Keyword here, user's query. And here's what I mean. I'm going to give you a couple of examples from the page right here. So for example, this right here. Having this stuff right here is immensely valuable. Just a thing that says non-tox USDA approved paint. Because again, you never know, let's go into ChatGPT again, you never know if someone's searching for, hey, I just got into gardening, I bought a wooden garden bed, but the rain like messes it all up, and it's been a year, and the bed was like, I need a new garden bed. What do you recommend? Big prompt, right? I don't know. The answer is, yeah, wood tends to be a not very good idea for these garden beds. Yes, it's cheap, but in the long run, it's going to be very expensive to replace. I recommend you use some maybe some steel-based ones. And here's a couple, right? He recommends a couple beds off the bat. And I say, yeah, but I've heard steel ones have these toxic paints that then go into the vegetables, and then you're basically consuming like toxic stuff. It says, yeah, sure, some of these paints, yeah, it has, but there's this one brand called Epic Garden that sells these ones that are non-toxic USDA approved paint. Here's the link, right? And the only reason why these guys show up is because they mention it, right? They mention it over and over again. Hopefully this is making sense. Even here in the Q&A, right? You never know, right? For example, let's see, how long do these garden beds last, right? You never know if someone's on GPT asking for stuff like, hey, I bought this garden bed, it got super corroded, like it was out of steel, but it got super corroded in like 2 years. Do you know any garden beds that last like 20 plus years? Yeah, funny enough, there's this one. So the only reason why they show up for these mega random prompts is because they mention it somewhere, whether that's on a Q&A type basis right here, or on like listicle basis right there, right? It's because they write about it. And I've said this before, but the whole secret to showing up on these LLMs, it's two things. First, it's to do proper classic SEO, okay? That's a very, very big thing. And second thing is give it as much context as you can. Mention everything, right? Let me give another example. For example, a lawyer, a local business lawyer, right? They have, let's say they're a divorce lawyer, okay? They have a bunch of reviews on Google, right? Great service, whatever, great service, but they don't syndicate them to their site. They should have like a /testimonials page on their site. Why? Let's say there's one of these reviews that says, hey, Vasco's law firm helped me out a lot. I got divorced from my wife. She wanted to keep the kids, but they were able to let me have custody of the kids because XYZ, right? I don't know. Let's say. Now, sure, when GPT is browsing to the internet, because let's say you're on ChatGPT asking it, hey man, I just divorced my kids, my wife, sorry. I'm looking for a lawyer that can help me get them back. What do you recommend? Yeah, sure. GPT is going to be browsing Google, different sites, the Google listings to read the reviews, but you want to increase your chances of being mentioned. So instead of just having your reviews on here, syndicate them to your site. Put that same review onto your site saying, hey, the one about the divorce, because you never know if the AI won't browse through your site and find a review on your site saying the exact thing these guys are asking for, saying, hey, funny enough you ask, I found this site called Vasco's Laws Firms, where there's an amazing review from a guy facing your exact same issue, right? And they just read out the review and they recommend the site. Hopefully this made sense. Now, granted, they could just not do it and hope that GPT would browse their Google listing, but why would they do that, right? They should be syndicating to their site. They should be putting it on social media. They should be writing LinkedIn posts, right? They should be putting it everywhere and anywhere, because you notice that these LLMs, they cite multiple sources, not just one, right? They cite social media, Reddit, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, right? They cite sites. They cite everywhere and anywhere they can find information in. So point being is syndicate your info. Not only, again, restructure the info as Q&A, as you saw, for example, for e-commerce, but if you're a lawyer as well, for example, right? And just the fact that you're syndicating reviews, right? You never know who's searching and who has the same pain point another customer of yours had back when. Hopefully somewhat makes sense, and you sort of can implement some of this stuff right now. The simple thing about like syndicating reviews from Google to your site is something I've been talking about like years ago, because First, it builds trust, right? When someone goes to your site and has like a testimonial page, builds trust. Sure, you have them on Google, but why not just have them on your site as well? Builds more trust. And secondly, like that one page, right, has a bunch of testimonials with people talking about your brand name, talking about their issues, talking about how you solve them. That's how your review is written, right? Has your reply as well, which has a bunch of your keywords that are placed in there, because a review reply should be optimized for SEO as well, with your brand name, your keywords there. So you have this mega page filled with reviews that are tailored to your business, about the problems you solved, filled with your replies on your site. So that page is going to become hyper relevant for whichever terms you're trying to rank for on Google and Bing. And we know that, again, ranking high on Google and Bing is heavily correlated with being mentioned again on GPT. So all this is intertwined. Okay. Now, fourth tip, which is maintain the classic SEO link building practices. Now, a lot of people know they need backlinks, but a lot of people don't do it because I think they're maybe scared. They think it's black hat. And some of it is, right? Some of it is. With SEO, you're essentially manipulating Google to mention your brand, right? That's all it is. But there's ways to do it in a white hat manner. And I can tell you that if, again, you don't do the classic SEO well, not just link building, not just off-page SEO, but if you don't do on-page SEO, right, which is everything that happens on your site, what you write on the site, the blogs, the articles you write, how you write them, how you sprinkle your keywords there, all this stuff that's on your site. If you don't do technical SEO well, which is the boring stuff like site speed, schema markup, meta titles, meta descriptions, image alt text, schema markup, all that stuff. And if you don't do link building as well, backlink building, which is right here, if you don't do all three, it's going to be very hard to succeed in the SEO space. So got to do all three, okay? Very, very important. And I'll show you at the end a tool that helps you do technical SEO. Full disclosure, it is my tool, but I'll show you what it is. I'll just open it right here so I don't forget. But again, going back to this, a lot of people, again, they know they need to do link building, but they don't do it maybe because they don't know how or because they're scared, right? And by the way, if you want me to do the link building for you, I can do it for you as well. I'll give you a link at the end. But again, point being here is that traditional SEO still applies because GPT queries Bing or similar search engines before generating answers. So if you ask something on GPT, some of the work you will do is convert your big prompt into searchable keywords you can search for on Bing, right? And a lot of the citations that the GPT is going to cite, you'll notice that the order and the ones that are there are most of the time the top 10 search results on Bing, right? And by the way, I know like OpenAI owns Microsoft owns OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT, and you'd think that, yeah, okay, so I need to rank on Google to rank on GPT. Yes, but there's a high correlation between Bing and Google, right? There's high correlation because they base off of mostly the same data. So by default, if you rank on Google, you're going to be mentioned on GPT. But again, sure, the OpenAI is biased, right? They want to use data from their own search engine, which is Bing. So they're biased, just like, for example, Twitter or X. If you use Grok, if you use their AI Grok, and I've made videos on that, they're not that they're biased in terms of information, they're biased in terms of where they get the info from. So if you use Grok right now, Grok.com, which is again Twitter's AI, Twitter's competitor or ex-competitor to ChatGPT, a lot of the citations are going to be from X posts, from Twitter posts, which again makes sense, right? They want to use their own data. I mean, you can think for yourself if that's good or bad. That's just how these work. They're biased in terms of where they get the information. And so, going back to link building, high authority links and good page ranking will help you. So having great backlinks will help you rank higher on the classic search engines, which by default will help you be mentioned or cited higher on these LLMs. And by the way, I can build these links for you. Just go to arvo.com, click here, purchase backlinks, right? I can, there's even a video here of me going over what the links are, the results, because they get so many results, it's insane, right? I basically build DR40 backlinks with search traffic to your site, and I can build it for you. It's a very manual process, so it takes almost 2 weeks. So there you go. So I can do it for you. Excuse me. If you want to do it yourself, excuse me, just go to youtube.com, type in Vasco's SEO tips, and just go to my channel, search here for backlinks, and just scroll down and watch this right here and this right here. Again, it's like 50 minutes, 1 hour of video. If you just want to save time and have me do it for you, because you have to learn how to do it and then you have to go out and do it. If you just want to save time and money, well, I'll just do it for you. Again, arvo.com, click here and I'll build them for you. I like to show you how to do it. And if you want to save time and pay me, I'll do it for you. But the exact same backlinks I show you how to build on these videos are the exact same backlinks I built here, which are the exact same backlinks all these guys got results with. So there you go. Keep it fully transparent with you. And since we're here in the topic of the 3 SEO pillars, link building, on page and off page, and technical, excuse me, there's this tool right here. Again, I own Arvo, excuse me. And one of the features it has right here is in the site optimizers, where if you add your site right here, name it whatever you want, add your URL, select the language, select the pages, and hit create, what this will do is it'll give you a bunch of technical optimizations you can do on your site. For example, right now it analyzed 50 pages, and it gave me technical SEO recommendations on my page titles, meta descriptions, canonicals, image alt text, and schema. Okay. For example, page titles. For this page right here, the /x, right, which I'll just open it right here, for example. Let's just go here, boom, 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 /x. This is a page going over, this is a software business going over their integration with Twitter, okay? And right now, their page title is this, Twitter X API Integrate Latte, okay? And we are suggesting you change it to X Twitter API Schedule and Automate Posts, and then the brand name. And here's why. This title is more action-oriented and includes key terms like schedule and automate, which users might search for. It clearly states the core functionality, X API, and the brand name. It's concise and informative, aiming to improve click-through rates from search results by highlighting the primary benefits. So it gives you the why. It's giving you the current one, the one it suggests you change it to, and the why. And if you hit apply, it will log into your site and just change it just like that. And the reason why this is important is, like, meta titles are very important for 2 things. Firstly, again, as you saw for click-through rates, if your meta title, even if you rank first, if your title sucks, well, nobody's going to click on it. And then for optimizing it for SEO, you have to sprinkle in your keywords there, right? This is a tool that helps you schedule posts to Twitter, right? So you should be including this keyword schedule or automate posts. So this is very poor, right? This is going to be it's not very well optimized, right? So for example, I'll give you another example. If I go here and just search for Dallas plumber, I give you this example all the time, right? There's some right here that have better meta titles than others. For example, this right here is too long, right? When you write over certain characters, it doesn't matter what you wrote because it doesn't even show up, right? So this right here is more optimized, right? Because it shows up the full thing. And that being said, I do prefer this right here, Dallas Plumber 24/7, right? It draws more attention in my opinion. This one is very poor, right? They could write a bunch more stuff right here. They have the exact match keyword right here, Dallas Plumbers, but they could do, for example, 24/7 or emergency service, right? You have to play around with optimizing for SEO, like sprinkling in your keywords, and at the same time making sure that people want to click it, right? It's enticing to click. Something that makes it enticing to click is this right here. These little stars. This is called schema markup. It's a little snippet of code you add to your site that makes these appear. Now we also have schema right here. We have FAQ schema and article schema. We'll add more in the future, but these 2 things right here, and I'll leave a video down below the description. It's this one right here. You can go watch it. It's going to be the second video in the description. It goes over all the schema stuff, how to add it, what different types of schema do, but different schema does different things, and one of the things schema does is this right here. The FAQ schema is, for example, for stuff like can dogs eat strawberries right here. All these right here, the sites that show up here, right, these are because they have schema on their pages. If I open this up right here, these guys have FAQ schema on their page, okay? So if you want to show up or increase your likelihood of showing up in these custom like Google snippets, like FAQ schema is this, or for example, the review schema, which is this right here. If you want to add extra features to the Google ranking pages, you can through schema, which again, this helps you do. And this is all technical SEO. It does image alt text, a bunch more stuff, right? So that's that in terms of technical SEO. You can give it a go at arvo.com. But going back to my magic whiteboarding, going back to the GEO tips or AI SEO tips or AEO tips or LLM SEO tips, however you want to call it, right? I just know that this is heavily based off of the classic SEO, as I said multiple times. Now, tip number 5, if this stops lagging, is leverage human-generated answers. And I've touched on this before, but in essence is AI engines pull heavily, and you might have noticed this, right, from review sites like G2, discussion forums like Reddit, and Twitter. Why? Because most of the times it's users going back and forth and interacting, right? Review sites like G2, for example, they really, it's really hard to post a review on here because they ask for a lot of stuff. So it's really hard for bots to spam this. Reddit, it's becoming easier now, but it's still very hard. And Twitter is fighting bots as much as they can by basically making you pay a monthly subscription. And usually bots don't pay for subscriptions. So stuff like this, having your brand show up here, and again, syndicating your stuff to this stuff right here. So these are Socials, like, for example, you post a new article on your site. Well, just make a Reddit post about it. Make a Twitter post about it. Make a LinkedIn post about it, right? Because they know it's human. And well-upvoted, clear answers, relevant questions are very likely to be cited as sources. And you see this all the way around, right? You see this a lot with Twitter. I use Grok a lot, that's why I'm a bit biased, but I see this a lot with Twitter. When you use Grok's engine, Twitter's AI engine, Grok, a lot of the citations come from Twitter. And I really like that because I know on Twitter, the people I follow, the people that are being cited are verified accounts that pay a monthly subscription, and there's comments on those accounts, there's comments on their posts, so it's a real human interaction. So I value a lot Grok's AI because it pulls in heavily from user-generated sources like Twitter. Okay, so that's why I'm putting this right here, not just because I like it, but because these engines heavily pull from these sources, right? Again, they pull from anywhere and everywhere, your site, your blogs, your articles, your service pages, your location pages, but also social media. Okay, so syndicate to social. Now, I've recorded a bunch of other videos on like AI, LLM SEO tips, and even a bunch like fully fledged courses, right, which I'll put here on the screen in a second. But if you want more training from me, if you want free access to Arvo, the software that I just showed you, go to arvo.com/academy. I'll open it up right here, arvo.com/academy. You get a full lifetime access to all my 7 SEO courses, right, with regular updates, by the way, right? You get access to a private community, right, where we chat back and forth, answer questions, do weekly live calls. It's live with me. I'm there. You can just ask me anything you want. You could even ask me to go over your site, to audit your site, to do whatever you want me to do on your site, on your business. You get access to Arvo for free, right? The tool that I just showed you right here with all these cool features, right? Which, since we're talking about this, I'll show you my favorite one. One of my favorite ones, which is right here, YouTube to blog posts. You can basically convert YouTube videos into blog posts, right? As this guy did right here. Case studies. This guy converted a bunch of YouTube videos into blog posts. It's a French marketing agency guy. You can watch the case study right here. He converted a bunch of YouTube videos, right, a bunch of them into blog posts. Not only did he convert the medium of consumption from video to written format, right, but he also converted the language from English to French. And he got a bunch of traffic right here from using the software. And there's a bunch more case studies you can see. This guy went from 0 to 10K in 24 hours. This is insane. And by the way, I did record an update on this right here, which is this right here. So yeah, so this is the video that's on the page that I just showed you, 0 to 10K in 24 hours. This right here. But then 12 hours later, he grew his traffic to 30,000. So in just the next 12 hours, this is the same case study, the same guy, just a couple hours later. And so this was achieved literally using this software right here, using this feature right here, the articles, which you can get access for free for 30 days if you join the Academy, plus all this stuff, plus a one-on-one consulting call with me, and a D40 backlink built by me manually. One of these right here that I charge $150 for one link. If you go here to checkout, you'll see that these are the exact same links I can build for you. Let me just, hopefully this loads. There you go. So you get a backlink for free included in your membership right here. So again, not only you get access to all my SEO courses, weekly calls, free access to the software that I just showed you, Arvo, sorry, I'm lagging a bit, and a one-on-one consulting call with myself, and a DR40 backlink, all included. And it's super cheap. It's cheaper you buy this than if you want to buy just the software, honestly. You could just buy the software, but it's more expensive. So if you buy this, you get all this stuff for free included, which is way cheaper than buying the software. You get so much more stuff. So there you go. arvo.com/academy. I'll leave a link for this in the description down below as well. And if you could do me a huge favor and comment the words LLM SEO, that'll be amazing, because it will help me and help YouTube push out this video to more people, help the algorithm push out this to more people. If this was somewhat valuable to you, if you learned something, if you think you can now go and apply some of this stuff, which I hopefully you do, right? Don't just be one of the people that watches and doesn't apply. Please go apply it. If you think this was valuable, please comment the words LLM SEO. This will help me out a ton. It will help me out push this video out to more people. And please check out the Academy. arvo.com/academy is going to be the first link in the description. You get access to all the stuff that I just went over, free access to my AI software, a DR40 backlink, which I sell for $150, a one-on-one consulting call with myself, weekly calls, all the courses, which you can just scroll down right here if you want to learn what the courses are. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So do that. And if you want more training, click right here, watch this one. And yeah, comment the words LLM SEO, check out the Academy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.